Hello, welcome from Trend Signal for our review of the data and events of the week beginning the 23rd of January. Monday morning sees equities starting the week in a fairly subdued mode, down overnight in the Far East, both FTSE and DAX and S&P all week and month, first thing Monday morning at least. The dollar falling, continuing the theme of towards the end of last week, and as a result, gold's also up on the back of that, being dollar-based. Quick review of the markets from last week. You can see equity markets were definitely on hold up to the inauguration of Donald Trump on Friday last week. FTSE shedding 140 points last week. The Dow and S&P also shedding just a few points, nothing too major though. On the currency markets, well, I think sterling was the big mover last week, up just shy of 2 cents against the dollar, benefiting from May's speech on Tuesday and the so-called hard Brexit approach. Anyway, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, was inaugurated last week, delivering a fairly aggressive, belligerent, antagonistic, you might say, inaugural speech, stopping the American carnage and making America great again and vowing to put America first. All suggestions of his protectionist, almost isolationist strategy. But a lot of what he says doesn't always come to pass, but the markets will be watching it very closely. He hadn't been in power long when his team picked a fight with the media, saying that reports that Trump's inauguration was attended by far fewer than Obama's inauguration. His new press secretary said there were no official estimates on the number of attendees, but then stated that more people had watched the event than any previous inauguration, which is rather contradictory, but I think the pictures suggest he definitely got that wrong. So quite a lot to do with Trump, but this week's data and events are fairly thin on the ground, as you can see from the calendar here. We start with Mario Draghi, from the chairman of the ECB, speaking in Italy. We don't expect too much out of that. The big event for the UK this week, in fact there are two events really. Firstly, the ruling on the EU membership. This is to do with the triggering of Article 50 and whether Theresa May has to consult with Parliament. I think it's something that she's expected, or the government's expecting to lose, but I think it may slow things down marginally, but I don't think it's a major issue for Theresa May and her government, or indeed sterling. The next sort of main business or events data coming out this week is the German Ifo Business Climate Survey, which is a broad-based survey on the Eurozone's largest economy. Be interesting to see how that turns out. We're looking for an unchanged figure from the previous month, but that can cause the dollar, or the euro, I should say, to flutter and certainly affect the stock markets in the Eurozone as well. We then jump to Thursday and Friday, the latter part of the week, with GDP data out in both the UK and the US. 9:30 on Thursday morning, it's the prelim GDP Q4, that's the fourth quarter in the UK, that's October, November and December. The UK remained reasonably resilient, although as we saw last Friday with the retail sales falling more than it was expected, it could be that inflation starts to hit consumer spending and we could see a bit of a tail off there. Certainly expectations for this year are down, but they have been trimmed back up again, in fact, by some commentators, notably the Item Club, the Young Item Club, suggesting that it won't be as bad as they first predicted, but it's going to last longer. That is the effect of Brexit on the economy, that is. And then we have the first reading for the US GDP in Q4. That's, again, similar to the UK's Q4 reading. Looking for a figure of 2.1%. I say similar to the figure of the UK. It's not in terms of its measure, but it is for the fourth quarter. They call it the advance number. In fact, it's advanced, then prelim. The thing with all of these numbers is that they have a number of readings. It takes a long time to collate the data. They've only collected roughly 40% of the data by the time they publish their first readings, so they are subject to quite a few revisions. That's it. Well, in fact, the final event of the week, of course, is not listed here, but in fact, that is Theresa May meeting with Donald Trump at the end of the week, which will be very interesting just to see what comes out of that. I fancy that all the suggestions that she's going to, tell Trump as it is. I suspect it's more to see if they can actually forge a closer relationship. I know Trump is quite an Anglophile, so I suspect they'll probably want to maintain very good relations. And Trump would love to promote his populist brand of politics. Anyway, that's it. Thanks very much for listening. Bye for now.
If you would like more information about trading the right way, Trend Signal is giving you the opportunity to see and hear about its services live at a free online seminar. Take a look at the Trend Signal website for the latest events and to book your free place.